Hello, and welcome to my little health talk that I get on here and I talk about insulin resistance and how it benefits you and how it makes your life just a little bit better. And you're able to, you know, live a healthier version of you. And that's what I want to encourage you. My name is Delana. If you don't know me, if you're watching this replay after the thing, have you ever noticed how you tried to work out hard and your body is still swollen? Hello, Miss Angelita. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing great, and your body just wouldn't benefit from it. Have you ever noticed that? That's what we're going to kind of be talking about today. You working out hard, you're doing everything right, and we're just getting some things set up real quick to make sure that we are doing well here. So, Miss Angelita, my beautiful friend, tell me how old you are and where you're from while we're getting started and getting set up.
Oh, you're so sweet, Elena. My name's Angelita. Guys, I am in Texas right now. I'm in Arlington, Texas, and I just turned 46.
Oh my goodness, Arlington, Texas. That's what I love about this protocol because I meet people from everywhere. I mean, everywhere, let me just tell you. And I had the pleasure of meeting her, actually getting to know her and sitting down and having a conversation with her when we were in Orlando and doing the Spartan race out of all
Yeah.
things. And by you being so active and doing the Spartan race, you said you worked out how many days a week?
So I used to be one of those people that if I was going to consume anything bad or I didn't want to deprive myself. So I always convinced myself, well, you have to work out. You can eat the way that you want, but you're going to have to burn off all those calories. So I was working out 6 days a week, during the high intensity interval training, killing myself, hour and a half. That was my usual routine. But once I turned 40, my knees, they just couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. And honestly, I wasn't seeing any changes in my physique with the way that I was exercising.
Amazing. So let me properly introduce Miss Angelita. I said my friend, my beautiful friend, but she's also in the health field. She's a nurse practitioner in Arlington, Texas. So if you don't know her and want to get to know her, please follow her and watch the live so that you can actually help reach other people and she can find you and you can find her, right?
Yes.
So also, Miss Angelita, you talked about working out and you talked about joint pain.
Mm.
How bad was that pain when you first started?
I mean, every day I would wake up, with the usual pain. And, most of the time your doctor will say, oh, this is just something that happens as you get older. But I wasn't an athlete growing up. I had no pre-existing conditions of like any injuries. So why am I hurting so much? You
Yeah.
know, if exercise is good medicine, my body will normally recover like it should. But this was constant pain. Like I had a date with my chiropractor every month because I mean, it got to the point where you would get that hip pain, that sciatic pain where it's going down your back, going down your leg. Just everything hurt all the time. And it was to the point where I was taking Motrin every day.
A lot of people deal with that. So I'm glad you brought up that topic because, being that you're underweight, because a lot of people think when you're dealing with insulin resistance and diabetes and fatty liver, neuropathy, that burning in the feet and hands, Hashimoto's, arthritis, dementia, migraines, heart disease, blood pressure, cholesterol problems, belly fat, they think that that's all insulin resistance is.
Mhm.
And it has a different look on it. So, would you like to talk a little bit about what insulin resistance is?
So, insulin is a hormone that our body makes. God creates us to be very unique individuals. And insulin comes out anytime we put something in our mouth. It could be a beverage, it could be a mint, gum, food. Anytime we eat or drink anything, insulin comes out from our pancreas to help transport the glucose, food, sugar in our bloodstream into the cells of our body. And these cells are the cells in our skin, our heart, our lungs, our ears, our kidneys. when we are constantly spiking our insulin levels over time, those cells cannot take in all that extra glucose sugar and they become resistant. So then when we have an abundant amount, a large amount of sugar in our bloodstream, it sits there. Insulin's there. Insulin is a fat storing hormone. So a lot of us end up developing a lot of the conditions that Delana just mentioned. Then you become pre-diabetic, then that prediabetes turns into diabetes over a matter of time. Then you end up having high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver. For some women who struggle with irregular menstrual cycles, irregular fluctuations in their mood, their hormones, they have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is literally insulin resistance of the ovaries. So a lot of us are having these issues and we don't even know that there's a root behind them. And I was one of those people, as a nurse practitioner. I mean, we are taught to treat symptoms but not look at the root of problems. And it wasn't until I started struggling with my own health conditions, it wasn't until I realized that I had something called insulin resistance, that's when the light bulb came on. And then I had to figure out, okay, what do I do with this information now?
And exactly. So over 86 million people deal with prediabetes every day in the world. Over 17 million heart attacks. Every 8 seconds, someone has a heart attack. So
Wow.
if this can resonate with you or a family member, please share this live and just get the information out there because that's what it's all about. It's knowledge is power, but only if you apply it. So you were struggling with some other symptoms. You want to dive into kind of where your health actually was when you were the other symptoms that you were having before you decided that inflammation wasn't the only problem.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I was over 40, last year. So I started making these changes last year. So struggling with the stubborn belly fat, killing myself in the gym, counting calories, weighing food, doing my macronutrients, doing everything that I could do, but I wasn't seeing my physique change, because I had the stubborn visceral fat, which is that fat that covers your intestine, your colon. It increases your risk for heart disease, and I had high cholesterol. Um, so then I started saying, okay, well, let me eliminate this. Maybe I'm eating too much, fatty foods. So I started doing the low fat. And then I started doing the vegan and the vegetarian and then the keto, the paleo, pescatarian. So I tried different diets, but that's all they are is diets.
Wow.
And I'm the type of person where I don't like to feel restrained. I need to have something that is easy and it flows with me. And I couldn't figure it out. I know how to treat symptoms. I had irritable bowel really bad. Anytime I ate bread, pasta, rice, I would bloat, gas, couldn't tolerate dairy, had severe reflux, taking two medications for that, taking medication for constipation, anxiety, depression. I had a lot of depression. And, when your gut health is poor, what do? You go to the gastroenterologist. So I went to the GI doctor and, you have your colonoscopy and you have other inflammatory bowel panels tested and everything looks normal because that's how it is. A lot of times you go to the doctor and we we'll test you until we try to find something. We're praying to find something, but sometimes we can't. So I was just treating my symptoms and I just knew there had to be a better way, but I just didn't know better. And, I'm a firm believer when you know better, you do better.
Exactly. And um, were you taking? I heard you say you were on cholesterol. You were had cholesterol problems. Were you
I
taking?
No, I didn't want to because I know the side effects of statins.
Okay.
And, one of the side effects is hyperglycemia,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm insulin resistant already. So I have the stubborn belly fat, I have the brain fog, and I didn't want to develop prediabetes. I would see it in patients. You start them on a statin, and over time they develop diabetes. It's only a matter of time. So, and then all the side effects of the muscle aching and all that, I didn't want to deal with any of that. So I was just trying to do it naturally.
So I'm glad that you said that. So you said you were trying to do it naturally. Where did who introduced you to this protocol that we're going to end up talking about? It's a natural protocol that is a solution with only two products in one practice that equals measurable results. And we're going to get into a little bit more detail on into this podcast. So you'll know that, there is a natural solution out there. And, actually, it's a nutraceutical instead of
The
the other word.
pharmaceutical. Yeah.
Yeah. So, where who introduced you to this?
So one of my friends at that time, we knew she was an associate. We knew of each other, but I didn't know anything about what she was doing. So she was over my house one Saturday and we were getting ready to eat lunch. And she saw that I was taking out like my digestive enzymes and my prebiotic to eat. And she was like, "Hey, I want you to try something." So at this point in time, I'm like, "Sure, I don't care." I was desperate. I'm taking literally 6 pills before I eat. And she's like, "Just drink this." She's like, "It's not going to work immediately, but I just want you to try it." So I drank it right before my meal and I was able to tolerate the meal. I didn't have the bloating, the intensity of the bloating. I still had a little, but it was nothing significant like I would have before, even with the pills. So then afterwards, she told me more about it. And I was like, "I don't care." So I just took it. And I was praying for something, give you a little back history. I got certified a couple of years ago in functional medicine. Functional medicine is trying to come up with other natural options for health and wellness. A lot of my patients were tired of taking pills and they would ask me all the time, "Hey doc, do you have something natural?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have anything natural." So I looked into that and I wanted to find something and I was looking for a tool because that's what we need. We need tools to help with what we're already doing. So
Yeah.
when I found this system, I was just like, "Lord, thank you so much." And it was so easy. It was so simple. So gut health was horrible. Even though I pride myself in my health and what I was eating, my gut health was horrible. And once I did a little bit of fasting, because we don't need to eat every 2, 3 hours. We don't.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Say that again for the people in the back. I'm like, why now? Because that's what we've always been told, to eat 6 to 8 times a day.
I know, but we're not babies. Why are we eating like a newborn baby? We are grown adults. So when we're feeding baby every 2 to 3 hours, insulin has to come out every 2 to 3 hours. Insulin never gets a chance to go down. So all we're doing is just storing all that extra energy.
Exactly. Because it takes about 4 to 6 hours for your insulin to come down from that first initial spike that you do with that cup of coffee in the morning. That
Yes.
you don't
Yeah.
realize how much sugar you're actually adding to that cup of coffee
Mhm,
or that biscuit and
mhm.
things
Or
like that.
oatmeal.
And oatmeal, exactly. You made a statement about eating healthy snacks. Can we
Mhm,
go into that just a little bit? Because you were working out 6 to 7 times a week
mhm.
and you wanted to find healthy snacks. I remember when I was going to Fit Body Boot Camp, I mean, they were running me around in circles every 30 seconds and I couldn't even keep up. But that was what I was looking for, healthy snacks. So go into something about healthy snacks that can benefit us as we're watching this.
So the problem is, we are eating too frequently. And when your insulin levels spike, when your glucose level spikes, and then when it comes down, you crash. So then you have those physical symptoms of feeling tired. You feel some people, they literally will have physical symptoms like hypoglycemia, meaning they get really tired, they get jittery.
Mm-hmm.
That's because insulin has to drop that high blood sugar spike. So what do? We look for something to snack on. When someone has diabetes and their blood sugar drops, what do we give them? We give them what? Orange juice or Coke or peanut butter. We're giving snacks. So we're literally grooming ourselves for these conditions. And that's what it was. For me, I was thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to watch my diet, if I'm going to do all the healthy things, I need to find healthy snacks. So I literally would go to Costco, Sam's, the grocery store looking for healthy snacks. And I'm looking at, the protein, the fiber, the sugar,
Okay.
but I was still gaining the weight. If I did
Yeah.
lose any weight, it wasn't sustainable. And I'm doing this all the time because I'm spiking my blood sugar. So there's no such thing as healthy snacks. Why are we snacking? Why do we have snacks? We
That
need
is
to just
so.
be getting back to the basics and just eating real food.
So I would like to show you a picture of Angelita and just kind of let you see where she was. I mean, and the muscles that she got, she is ripped. When I tell you a beautiful lady.
You're so sweet.
But I also want you to go into did you first notice when you started the system that your friend introduced you to? What was the first thing that you noticed?
I wasn't hungry. That was the biggest thing. So I tried fasting in the past and it's just not for me. Anytime I think about fasting, I think about being at church on my knees praying, and all I'm thinking about is when I'm going to get my next meal. So that was the hardest. And anytime I tried to fast, I would get the low blood sugars, and it's just a horrible feeling. It is an absolute horrible feeling.
Oh my goodness.
So when I started the protocol with drinking the tea, it cut off the food noise completely.
I
And
love that.
I didn't know that there was anything out there like that that would actually make you not be so it's almost like you have uh oh, what is it? You're obsessed. It's like an addiction. You're
Hmm.
so preoccupied with your next meal. What are you going to eat?
And when she's talking about this tea, you actually just put it in water, 16 ounces to 20 ounces, up to 40 ounces of water, and you sip on it. And you don't have any jitters. It, you can actually function a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it a little bit, and we're going to come back and talk about some other things. So, what this is a system that actually helps you benefit to fast, to time based eat, and to actually get through it. It improves your blood pressure. It decreases the inflammation. She talks about how it quiet the food noise, how it suppressed the appetite. It enhanced digestion and it increases insulin sensitivity. And tonight we have a health talk that's going to be on. If you want to listen to that, a health talk, it's a Zoom link that you asked us for. But we're going to talk about how this tea also enhance your own GLP-1 hormone that you have in your body up to 60 to 70% and increase the fat burning that you have. So that visceral fat that Angelita was talking about, it actually decreases that inflammation and actually helps promote weight loss. And when that's a secondary benefit, it's not a weight loss drug, it's not a weight loss nutraceutical, but when your gut is healthy, it actually helps enhance that. And as a dealing with blood pressure and heart disease and lipid control, you think of this as a vasodilation, how it helps relax the blood vessels, how you think of theobromine is one of the ingredients in it, how it also helps as a bronchodilator. It actually helps relax the airway. It helps enhance the mood. So when I was an ugly or not so nice person at times, when I was moody trying to fast, I don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's
Mm-hmm.
just some of the things and the anti-inflammatory because of the joint pain and the inflammation that goes on in the body. You don't realize
Mm-hmm.
how inflamed you are.
Yes.
And this tea actually helps that. But like I said, you put it in water. It's 16 20 ounces of water. You can put it up to 40 ounces and sip on it. And
Mm-hmm.
that actually enhance that. So if you know somebody that's dealing with inflammation, joint pain, some of the things I just talked about, please share this live and let them know how a nutraceutical can benefit this. Angelita, this is found in the PDR, the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
physician's desk reference.
So one thing that really helped convince me that this is essential. A lot of us we're malnourished. When I say malnourished, we are lacking the essential nutrients that we're not getting in our food. What is it? 68% of the food that we consume on a day-to-day basis has no nutritional value at all.
None.
None. But this is just what our modern food environment consists of. We're busy, all of us are. And most of the time, we don't prepare ahead of time. A lot of times, we have food aversions. Some of it's cultural. You grew up eating a certain way. You didn't know that you were eating bad. Grandma was overweight. Her mother was overweight. Your kids are overweight. You're overweight. So you're just thinking it's genetic. It's not. And I
No.
mean, to highlight how bad things are, they had to redo the food pyramid
I love
centuries. You
that.
think about, for me, that was so disheartening. I mean, the writing's already on the wall, But it
Mm,
was so disheartening that things are so bad that one out of every three preteens is pre-diabetic
mm, mm.
because of the way things are. So we're nutrient dense. We're not getting the nutrients. And once you put back in your body what it needs, it's just amazing how everything just falls back into alignment.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I love the tea because it helped me not have to fight willpower.
And that's real. I don't care where you are. And it travels well.
It
The
does.
willpower.
It does. And when I say the tea is it's essential nutrients, it has chlorogenic acid.
Yeah.
So it's in the physician's desk reference. We have this book, but now you can get it online. It's called the Prescriber's Digital Reference. And when I saw that it was in there, that was my belief. I was like, because anything that's in the prescriber's digital reference has to be clinically tested, has to be proven to be just as effective as a pharmaceutical, but it's a nutraceutical, which is plants, fibers, and minerals. And there's been over 20 clinical tests. It's in 63 countries. So when I saw that and when I saw the literature, so the tea has something called chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is basically food. It's fruits and vegetables. Okay, you can get it in herbal teas, you can get it in coffee, but it's in this tea and it's 370 times the concentration.
Wow.
So when we're insulin resistant, when we have something that actually keeps our insulin levels low, keeps our glucose low, so that insulin can be transported into our cells for energy, fuel, that chlorogenic acid, that tea helps to keep that blood sugar. So I saw the research on it, and it decreases the blood sugar spikes. It helps with mental cognition. It helps with jitters. It helps with all that inflammation. And
Yeah.
then I started experiencing it. So then what happened is one medication went away, then two
Mm.
medications went away, then three medications went away. And I mean, literally, and I was just like, wow. So for me, after I saw the clinical research, I started like testifying, experiencing it. I was able to come off all my medications.
And
And now
wow.
I'm able to
Wow.
have that willpower to make healthy choices, because don't get me wrong, we got birthdays, we got anniversaries, we have Valentine's Day coming up. I'm
Mm.
going to indulge, I'm going to cheat because there's
Yes.
certain things that I've come accustomed to liking. But when I do have those things, I feel like crap because now my body is, we would say, metabolically flexible, meaning I'm not insulin resistant anymore.
Yes.
When my blood sugar spikes, I'm going to feel it.
Yeah.
So it allows you to make behavioral changes. And this is nothing short term. This is long term changes. I started this system in December of last year, came
Mm-hmm.
off 6 medications. I wasn't trying to lose weight because I was thin already,
Yes.
but I was not able to get that physique I wanted because I had that stubborn visceral fat.
Yes.
Um, and it's been sustainable. I lost 15 pounds from it and I haven't gained a pound back. My body fat percentage went down from 30 to 25, and I no longer have high cholesterol. So,
And you stop. That's the thing about it. You stop losing weight when your body would
oh,
became
yes.
insulin sensitive. Speak on that just a little bit because a lot of people
Mhm.
think, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose all this weight and I'm gonna be walking around skin and bones." No.
No. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, let me see if I can do this without restricting any dietary. I just ate normal and
Yes.
I stopped working out
Yes.
because I didn't want there to be anything to interfere. I just wanted to
Mhm.
see if it would work for me. And when I just saw like my clothes, I
Yeah.
mean, I dropped down, in clothing size. I went from a size 8 to size 2. I was like, whoa. Then I did get concerned. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Like, am I going to continue to lose weight? No, my body had to get to a healthy weight.
Exactly.
And, the exercising, everything that I was thinking I was going to get that look that I wanted, I would never be able to achieve it. Now I work out 2 or 3 days a week because exercise is important,
Yes.
especially if you're over 40, we need to be lifting weights to build that muscle, to help with your balance, to help with your joints, to help with your mobility.
Yeah.
So yes, once your body gets to a healthy weight, then you stay there, and it's been nice to be able to indulge from time to time and my weight doesn't change.
I love how you brought that on. That is awesome because we talk about this natural solution with two products and one practice. We've talked about one product and one practice already, but we need to talk about that second product in this solution because of the fact of how beneficial this product is and how you need to add it into your daily regimen. And another thing, this is a 90-day money back guarantee, so you don't have anything to lose with this. If you wanted to know more about this, please get with Miss Angelita or myself. Follow her if you haven't followed her. Follow me if you haven't followed me. If you're watching the replay of this live, please share it or reach out to us in messengers, because the thing about this second part of this protocol that we do is very, very important to your gut. She talked about her IBS earlier on when we first come on here, and her anxiety and depression. And I want her to go into the second part of this solution that actually gave her the measurable results that she could see from the inside out.
So the second part for me, honestly, I feel like it's the most crucial part. It really is. Um, Earlier I was talking about how malnourished we are. So 68% of the food that we're consuming does not have any nutritional value, and it's marketed to make us sick. Honestly, a lot of the conditions we've developed over time is because we ate ourselves there. And, some of it is just not knowing, and I always say when you know better, you do better. But we are so malnourished in fiber, and I say it casually. A lot of times people say, oh, fiber, okay, I'll eat some more whole grains. No, it's more than that. Our gut microbiome, meaning the bacteria in our gut, it has a diverse amount of bacteria. So we need a diverse amount of plant fibers, and we just don't have it in our diet. We don't. We have over 1 trillion gut microbiome, and most of us eat the same thing over and over and again. If you're not eating the rainbow on a consistent basis, you're not getting that diverse amount of plant fibers. And my gut health was so poor. And I ate veggies. I'm the type of person where you got to have your protein, your carb, your veggies, but I wasn't getting a diverse amount of plant fibers. And then, with that, you have to have soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. And you're going to get that from, greens, beans. You're going to get it from your green leafy vegetables, fruits. But a lot of us, with every meal, we're not getting enough. For ladies, we need to be at least getting 25 grams, males, at least 35 or up grams of fiber. Most of us are only getting 5% fiber a day.
Mm,
And that's why we're so sick. The high cholesterol, when you have a diet that consists of high fiber foods, that fiber traps the cholesterol and your body doesn't absorb it.
mm, mm.
Okay. When you have poor gut microbiome, you're going to have that inflammation, meaning you have an overgrowth of bad bacteria in the gut. So that was me. I thought I was lactose intolerant. Now I eat cheese all day.
Yes.
It's inflammation. So a lot of times, we'll get diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome is symptoms. So you eat certain foods, and some people, it's so scary because you're afraid. And that was me. I was afraid to leave the house because I'm like, okay, if I have this, I don't know how my body's going to respond.
Exactly.
And it's an abundant amount of inflammation.
Mm,
So until you treat that, you're all you're doing is a lot of us are just miserable. We are.
yes.
And I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and 90% of your serotonin, that's that feel good hormone. That's a hormone that just makes you feel just content with life. Dopamine. These hormones are in our gut.
Yes.
So when you fix the gut, you fix your brain. And I was finally able to come off my antidepressant that I've been on for 10 years.
Wow.
And just to have the clarity. Don't get me wrong, there's these medications are meant for certain conditions. Some people are not able to come off of it, but for me, I wanted to be able to cry. I wanted to be able to feel emotions. I would say now I can taste the emotions
Yes.
because the medicine just numbed me. It allowed me to like just let somebody fly off the roof, and I'm like, well, that's your problem. You do you, I do me, boo. Okay. But
That's
now
right.
I'm kind of like, okay, you're doing the most.
Yes.
And
Oh.
when you have so much inflammation, you get the constipation. Oh,
Yes. Oh,
it's horrible because everything is just slowing down and you're miserable. And
yes.
for a lot of people who have poor gut, they have chronic skin conditions. I would see tons of my patients who had diabetes, poor gut health because they were insulin resistant, have eczema,
Mm.
psoriasis. Those toxins, they seep through the crevices of the intestine. We get something called leaky gut. Those toxins have to go somewhere. And you know where they're going to come? They're going to come out in the skin. So then when
Exactly.
you're insulin resistant, you get the skin tags. I used to have them all around my eyes. You would
Mm-hmm.
get that dark pigmentation. Okay. Dark pigmentation around the neck. These are all physical symptoms. Dry, itchy skin,
Mm.
all a sign of insulin resistance. So the fiber for me was a game changer because it has seven different plant fibers
Wow.
because we have to have a variety of plant fibers for our gut. So no longer have the cholesterol.
Mm.
I'm now able to eat food without struggle. And what I love about the fiber, it helps to coat your stomach so you don't overeat
Yeah.
and it makes you feel full.
Mm.
It reduces your preprandial, meaning your blood sugar spikes before and after your meal by 40%.
Mm.
Even
So,
if you didn't have this system, just eating fiber before your meals
mm,
reduces your blood sugar significantly. And that was done by a Cornell University. They did a study on that. Okay.
wow.
So you're treating your gut microbiome, you're feeling fuller. When you eat foods high in fiber, you end up losing weight because foods that are not high in fiber end up being ultra processed, high in carbs and calories, and people struggle. Yeah. So that
Right.
for me, that it's just a game changer. My life has drastically changed just by making that one change.
And making that one change and knowing that you're getting the amount of fiber that you need in your body to keep those blood sugar spikes down. Because a lot of people think, well, I don't have diabetes. Well, you don't have
Mhm.
to have
You don't have
diabetes.
to.
You have
No.
inflammation. You're sluggish. You don't have any energy. You're
Mm-mm.
craving foods 24/7.
Yep.
You're wanting something to eat after you've been told to eat every 2 hours. You have, you just, your skin has acne,
Hmm.
psoriasis. Um, and when that happens, adult acne and psoriasis, it's very painful because that's the inflammation, that toxins that she was talking about coming from the foods that you're eating,
Hmm.
coming through your scalp. You have dandruff, what people think is dandruff.
Hmm.
You have breakouts on your face,
Hmm.
and you have abdominal pain.
Hmm.
So you think about all those things that this food that you've been told to eat every 2 hours, 8 times a day, is keeping your insulin high. This fiber is keeping those spikes down by 43% throughout the day. So you don't have to eat those 8 heads of broccoli to get those grams of fiber that men and women need.
Hmm.
Angelita, you spoke amazingly on this because when you have visceral fat and you have the skinny fat, let me show you her picture one more time because, again, you do not have to be
No.
heavy.
So I always, a lot of times when when you're talking about insulin resistance, so then you'll say to yourself, okay, well, how do I get tested for this? So there's a couple of tests that you can ask your doctor for. They can do a fasting insulin plant panel, or they can order I know there's a cardio in IR test that
Yes.
they can order from Quest LabCorp. And
Mhm.
then there's a quick math. You can just take your triglycerides and you can divide that by your HDL. That was the quickest way for me to figure out if I was insulin resistant. Because once again, like we don't talk about insulin resistance. Your doctor's not going to do an insulin resistance test. They'll check your hemoglobin A1C. Most of the time, that's normal. 5.7 or higher is considered pre-diabetic, right? But
Yes.
what do? We just wait until you are diabetic, and then we're like, okay, Miss Smith, now it's time for treatment. This is so sad. Like every
Yes.
time I say that in my mind, I'm like, how come it never resonated with me before? How come I never questioned it?
Well,
You
don't beat
know?
yourself up because nutrition wasn't taught as a part of your
No, it's not.
education
I had
plan.
one semester.
Exactly. And you
Yeah.
go by it so fast, and then you don't adapt it to your clinicals when you go out in the field
No.
because you're treating the symptoms of somebody coming in saying, okay, I got pain, I'm
Right.
dizzy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm fatigued, I have
Right.
no energy. So you're doing your part there. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, how many times do you have a cholesterol profile drawn? throughout a year.
Yeah, once a year for your physical. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you're put on a statin, you're probably going to get it 6 weeks down, excuse me, 6 months down the road to see what that medication did.
Mhm.
But just doing these tools along with the system, implementing tools throughout the life of your cholesterol, you could be like Angelita and I and not have any cholesterol, high
Mhm.
cholesterol any longer. And she told you the easiest way to check it. You have those documents in your hand.
Mhm.
And if you take the triglycerides and divide them by the HDL, which is your good cholesterol, that decreases the cardiac event. If it's over 1.5%, guess what? You need to do something about it real quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Mhm.
And she's going to continue talking about the
Mhm.
other tools. There's a couple more.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah. So my insulin resistance score was a 4.
mm. I
So
got you
I
beat. I
was
think
in,
mine was a 9.
oh Jesus. So like Delana
Yes.
said, 1.5, you're at risk. 2, high risk. 3, you more than likely have a chronic condition. You more than likely have diabetes, high cholesterol, fatty liver, overweight. Most of us have these conditions and we just put you on medication for it. So I ended up doing a little bit of fasting. There's so many benefits of fasting, and I really do believe fasting is underutilized. It is.
Yes.
I remember the other day I did a live, and I was just in shock. I did a poll, and I asked people, how many people think fasting's bad? And I could not believe that people think that fasting is bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it's just educating ourselves. When I say fasting, I'm not talking about anything extreme. I'm just saying, like Delana said earlier, it takes 4 to 6 hours for insulin to come down. Give your body a break. Your intestines, your stomach, your digestion, it needs time. We're fasting when we're sleeping, and most of us get anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So that's great. Push the fasting back a little bit further. Instead of jumping up in the morning to have that wonderful, frappuccino or sugary beverage smoothie, even though it's fruit, it's natural fructose, is going to spike your blood sugar. So
That
push it back
healthy
a little
snack,
bit.
right?
Yes, a healthy snack or that big delicious bowl of oatmeal, which is ultra processed oats. Unless you're doing some, some still cut oats or you're cooking it overnight and you're putting some chia seed in it, most of us aren't doing it. Most of us are
Mm,
giving our kids waffles, pancakes, bagels, donuts, and we send them off to school and they have behavioral problems because we're not even setting them up for success. So
yes.
a lot of it we're groomed to, we just don't know better. And I always say when you know better, you do better. So a little bit of fasting. I do a 16/8, meaning I don't eat anything for 16 hours. All I'm doing is skipping breakfast. Most of us skip breakfast anyways.
Yes.
But when we break that fast, that is so crucial.
Oh, wow. So
So
crucial.
how do you break your fast, Elena?
So the way I break my fast is I want fiber first, and I use my fiber because I need the grams of fat, grams of fiber that she talked about. So I break my fast with this, and then I add protein and healthy fats to those. And when I say that, I'm talking about whole foods. I don't go looking for a protein bar. I go and get whole meat
Hmm.
and eat chicken, steak, beef, eggs, protein,
Hmm.
salmon. I want whole foods.
Hmm.
And also the healthy fats. I want Greek yogurt, and I will add some berries in there to give it some sweetness. And I will also add a handful of nuts, maybe about 5 or 6 in there, just
Hmm.
to give it a sweet, salty taste if you're looking for that. So I use the Greek full fat yogurt. I don't want none fat. I want healthy fats.
Hmm.
Avocados, I'll eat an avocado a day
Hmm.
because those are healthy fats that my body need. It needs the omega 3s.
It does. Yeah.
So when you learn how to break a fast the correct way, it will work for you and not against you.
Yeah. And a lot of us we do, we'll do the fasting. We're like, okay, I'm great. But then what you do is your blood sugar, insulin's been low. Because remember, when insulin is low, insulin is able to help transport glucose into our cells for fuel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we become insulin sensitive. Our
Sensitive.
body is our body is literally functioning the way that God intended for it to function. And we're reversing conditions.
Yes.
But when we're breaking our fast and we're breaking it with something that's high in sugar, ultra processed, all
Mm.
we're doing is burning off the fuel, the food that we're eating, versus tapping into our stored fat. for energy. So
Exactly.
FFP, she talked about fiber, your good fats, your protein, and then have your carbs last. And that's
Yes.
why, a lot of times people overeat when they go to a restaurant, before the pandemic, you used to get unlimited bread, chips and salsa. There's a reason why.
Yes.
Spikes blood sugar, then you get happy, dopamine kicks in, you're like, okay, great. And then what do? You order entree, you order dessert, you order drinks. Before you know it, you've eaten all this food and you feel like crap afterwards.
Yes.
But we want to keep the blood sugars stable. So break your fast the right way, you know, and it makes a huge difference in your blood sugars and overall metabolic health. Yeah.
Yes. Again, if you're listening to this replay, please share it with someone that needs it. This is very educational. Again, tonight we're talking about GLP-1s and how they affect your system and how you can actually put something alongside with that to enhance your own GLP-1 that we use daily through this fasting protocol. So reach out to Angelita and myself. We would love to help you and love to let you know how things can work for you. It's a referral discount code that we have. It's a lifetime discount code that you use. Once you get it, you can share your code with someone else. I pay the same price you pay. I mean, the price for me is beneficial because it's my health. And knowing what I know now, the longevity is worth it.
What I love about this system is it's very sustainable, you know. I look at it like this, if you're at the point where you're frustrated, you're not seeing any changes in your overall health. Because in our current medical model, for every illness, there's a pill.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was pilled out. I have patients who are just so tired. They're just like, you get overwhelmed. You're going to the doctor every 3 months, you're going to the pharmacy every month or two, you're going to different specialists, insurance copays, and you just get tired and you're not getting better.
Yes.
If you're at the point where you're just like, hey, you know what? I want to try something different. I love this system because it's actually giving your body what it needs. And a lot of these things can be reversed. Dr. Jason Fung, he's a nephrologist. He talks about the diabetes code, talking about how type 2 diabetes can be reversed. And he talks about the benefits of fasting and fiber.
Exactly.
There's another book by, oh my goodness, by Dr. Robert Lusting, Metabolical, talks about the lures and the lies of ultra processed foods. All of this is set up. There's a reason why all of this is happening. We're unfortunately the ones that have to pay for it. We're paying for it in our pocketbooks and with our health. But the pharmaceutical companies are making a profit off of it. The food makers are making a profit off of it, but we're not profiting from it, and it's just disheartening to see people suffer when we don't have to suffer. And if you're tired of suffering, you have nothing to lose. What I love about this system is they offer a 90-day money back guarantee. And the system is equivalent to $6 a day. That consists of your two drinks, your teas that you would drink during the times that you are not eating. It helps to keep you in a fasted state. It helps to increase your natural GLP-1, your glucagon-like peptide inhibitor that's in your gut. We make it ourselves. We don't need a synthetic form. We don't.
Not at all.
Cuts off the ghrelin hormone. You're not having the preoccupation with the food and the hunger. It helps to settle your mood. You have mental stability. You have energy. I'm able to exercise faster now, lifting weights. Never could do that before.
Yes.
And it gives
Because
you
Freud
food
felt like you
fueling.
were going to pass out, right?
Oh, yes. And I thought something was wrong because your liver is supposed to pump out all this extra glucose during that time for energy. But no, I felt
Wasn't.
miserable. I felt miserable. So you have something that helps your body work better.
Yes.
Okay. Then you got fasting. The benefits of fasting alone outweigh itself. It does.
Yes.
When you're fasting, your body's able to rest, digest, and repair. Cellular repair. When someone has insulin resistance and
Mm-hmm.
they've developed secondary conditions such as neuropathy, numbness, tingling, retinopathy, blurred vision,
Mm.
okay, nephropathy, kidney disease, because insulin can't transport glucose into those cells for energy. We need something to reverse these things. So a lot of stuff can be reversed. So if your
Exactly.
body's physically showing these symptoms, $6 for me, $6 a day is not even enough. Most
Mm-mm.
of us pay anywhere, especially if you're on insulin, most of us
Oh,
pay
wow.
anywhere from 25 to $500. And it costs $1 for the manufacturer to make one vial of insulin. But they don't care about us. They don't, you know. So
Yes.
they don't. And this is a way for you, and I always say be an advocate for yourself. So your doctor can
Always.
look it up. You can talk to your doctor about it. They can look it up in the physician test reference and work with your doctor. We're not talking about just cutting off medicines. We're talking about working with your doctor to give you other options so that over
Exactly.
time people do come off medications. They do, you know.
Yes. I was one of those, as well
Yeah.
as
Hmm.
Angelita.
Yeah.
I was on 8 different ones. I'm not on any anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing this. And another way, just this last little tidbit that I want to talk about. If you're more than your waistline is more than half your height, then that's another sign that you're insulin resistant.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and you have this tool, it's just a measuring tape. You have
Hmm.
it at
Yeah.
home.
So
Just get
take
a
that
string.
Take that measuring tape, ladies, if it's greater than 35 inches, males 40, you're insulin resistant. If you have blood pressure that's greater than 138 over 90, you're stage one hypertension, insulin resistance. Total cholesterol greater than 200, triglycerides greater than 150. If your HDL for females is less than 40, I mean, less
Mhm.
than 50 for females, less than 40 for males, you're insulin resistant.
Yes.
So with the protocol, 90-day money back guarantee, I love it because we always say give it 90 days. You go to the doctor, they start you on a medication for diabetes, for cholesterol. We're going to recheck your numbers in 90 days because that's when we see cellular change happen. So prove
Cellular
it with your blood
regeneration.
work.
Yes.
Yeah,
Labs don't lie.
labs don't lie.
Angelita, I thank you for this opportunity. But the thing about it is, it's one more tidbit I want to talk about. We need more voices. We need people that are want to be health advocates for themselves. But if you're struggling or have been through a year where your health has not been where it wants to be and you want to learn more and know more, please reach out to us. We would love to share this opportunity with you so
We
you can
will.
know the benefits.
And like Delana said, there is a science call. What I love about this community is we have a wonderful Facebook group with I mean, last time I looked, I think it was going on over like 5,000 members.
Yes.
And we have science calls, weekly science calls with real people, you
Yes.
know, real people. We have several healthcare professionals on our team. And our goal is to help share awareness and save lives. So if you're interested in knowing more information about this system that we are both using and helping other people regain their health and wellness, please reach out. We have a science call tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes. And that's 8 p.m. Central Time. She's
Yes.
in Texas and I'm in Alabama. So just so you know. But Angelita, I thank you for your time today. I thank you for your willingness to just have a conversation that somebody needed to know. But knowledge is power only if you apply it. Angelita,
Yes.
at the end, is there anything additional that you would like to add before we close this podcast out tonight?
I always say build habits to reach your destiny.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Success is possible and health is wealth.
Yes.
So, with
Health
that
as
being
well.
said, health is wealth. Exactly. So, with that being said, Angelita, I thank you for your time today
Thank you so
and for the
much.
opportunity. Again, if you haven't followed her, please do so. If you need to reach out to either one of us, you're more than welcome to do so. And hey, let's apply knowledge for 2026 and reach the healthcare goals. And those insurance premiums that have gone up, let's take them not down a notch so you don't have to pay those continuous copays to those
Mhm.
different places that you're being sent to.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
guys. Be blessed.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.